Winter Olympic chef de mission has defended the squad's performance, saying the team is heading in the right direction. With just 5 days to go, Australia is in danger, though, of missing out on a gold medal for the first time in 16 years.
David Morris savours Sochi silver.
It's a dream come true, isn't it?
As the snow plummets down, so too Australia's chances of a breakthrough victory.
Gold medals are incredibly hard to win, and they're great when you get them, and we've come very close a couple of times. So our overall picture is that we see ourselves still as a developing winter sports nation.
Not so. 29-year-old silver sensation Morris, the Victorian, represents the old guard and might not feature in 4 years' time.
That's been the goal for so many years, so haven't thought about the next day. I didn't even plan for today or anything, so we will just have to see what happens.
Australia is focusing on the future. Martin Foucault looking back, aware of the threat behind but powerless to repel it, although Emil Svensson almost surrendered his hard work in the final metre.
And we has to share it, they've got that right, but oh well, the time difference, 0.
The Norwegian scraping home for a biathlon triumph, countryman Jürgen Grabach avoiding a spill for cross-country gold.
Has to hold on, can he hold on? Yes he can!
A gigantic effort in the giant slalom, Tina Maza snatching her second Sochi gold.
And it is
Australia's first female summer and winter Olympian Jana Pittman is sitting snug in 14th at the halfway mark of the bobsleigh.
The form is good.
Fittingly, Jorrit Bergseme's golden blades cut him to golden glory in yet another Netherlands clean sweep.
It's an astonishing 22.74.
The stars and stripes owning the sky. David Wise with a golden shine in the half-pipe.
He's selling it a bit as well. Now he's selling it big time.
Nick Vinden, SBS World News.
So taking a look at the medal standing after day 11, and Germany remains on top. Australia is just outside the top 20. To football, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic has helped Paris Saint-Germain virtually assure its place in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Champions League. The French champion easily accounted for Bayer Leverkusen in the first leg of the last 16, while Barcelona is also on course for progression after victory in Manchester.
Manchester City and Barcelona were locked in a cagey affair until Lionel Messi was brought down by Martin Demichelis in the second half.
It's going to be a red card, he's off.
From the beginning, I felt that the referee was not impartial to both teams, so he decided the game. The penalty of Martin Demichelis, that was not a penalty, was outside the box.
With City down to 10, Messi exacted further punishment. In the 90th minute, a cool finish from Dani Alves made the Sky Blues' task for the second leg much more difficult.
Luego ellos también han apretado más, incluso con uno menos. La idea era tener esa posesión, intentar crear ocasiones para hacer algún gol y al final lo hemos hecho.
In Leverkusen, visitors Paris Saint-Germain took the lead just 3 minutes in through Blaise Matuidi. Zlatan Ibrahimovic extended the advantage from the spot before unleashing an unstoppable drive.
He found his A game there, all right.
Johan Cabaye added a fourth late in the second period to all but book the Parisian spot in the quarter-finals.
Voilà, l'équipe a fait ce qu'il fallait. Et pour le match retour, une qualification, ça se joue sur les 2 matchs. Et on voulait bien sûr prendre l'avantage dès ce soir. Ça s'est fait. Et voilà, maintenant on va pouvoir préparer la suite un peu plus sereinement.
Bayer Leverkusen will need to make history to progress, with no side ever having come back from a 4-goal first-leg deficit. Vitor Sobral, SBS World News.
And our live coverage of the Champions League continues tomorrow morning. Join us for the round 16 clash between Arsenal and Bayern Munich. Our coverage on SBS 1 kicks off from 6:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. The Socceroos and their fans won't have to change plans ahead of the World Cup, with FIFA deciding it's better late than never for the completion of a host stadium in Curitiba. It will now be officially handed over just a month before the tournament kicks off.
Curitiba definitely is late. Curitiba, over the last 3 weeks, has worked quite a lot, thanks to the team we put in place.
The Socceroos will play Spain at the venue on June 24. To cricket, and Mitchell Johnson's vicious bowling against South Africa means the Proteas need to replace Ryan McLaren for the second test. The all-rounder hasn't recovered in time from a concussion he suffered when he was hit in the head by a bouncer. Peter Siddle says Australia's bowlers are brimming with confidence.
Yeah, we know our plans can work, and I think that's been the big thing the last probably 6 months, that we've been able to create good plans for opposition players, and we've been able to execute that as a bowling unit.
Shane Watson only completed part of the training session and will most likely sit out of tomorrow's match in Port Elizabeth. Aussie cyclist Lee Howard is thrilled with his second place in stage 1 of the Tour of Oman. Featuring Tour de France champion Chris Froome, the race started with a 150-kilometre ride that came down to a bunch sprint. Powerful German champion Andre Greipel was first past the post. Orica Green Edge rider Howard happy to share the podium after his first sprint of the season. As a child, Aaliyah lived in a Kenyan refugee camp after his mother fled war-torn Sudan. Since moving to Australia, the 19-year-old has embraced AFL, so much so that he is on the verge of playing his first game for the Swans.
18 months ago, Aaliyah went to draft camp in Melbourne but was overlooked on draft day, a moment he admits almost finished his career.
To be honest, I didn't really want to play footy. I just wanted to be with the family and go back to studying, if not work. So, yeah, it was pretty disappointing, but I was lucky my brother was there to kind of talk me into giving it another go.
12 months later, last November, his name was called out by the Sydney Swans at pick 44.
I didn't actually even see my name get called out. I was just on my phone and my brother saw it and he jumped on me and said, "Oh, you're going to the Swans, you got drafted," and it's just, I was froze, I couldn't really believe it.
Ali was born in a refugee camp in Kenya after his Sudanese mother fled the war-torn country. His father passed away when he was just a child, and at age 8, Mum and kids moved to Australia.
I need to kind of sit down and sort of talk to Mum about what it was like back home there, because I haven't been back there since I came to Australia, and I'm really looking forward to going there one day and, trying to help out as much as I can.
Playing with the world team at the 2010 Under-16 Championships, he found a cousin he never knew he had, Ruben, whose family lived in Perth. That prompted Ali's family to move to Western Australia, where his life and game flourished. Now in Sydney, the Swans see him as a key defender for years to come.
For somebody that's come from a really hard time, a really hard background in Sudan and over in Africa, and move over to Australia, and he's a great story.
You can't help it. I like the kid, he's always got a smile, he's always energetic.
Aaliyah could make his Swans debut on Thursday night in the pre-season cup. Glenn Osborne, SBS World News.
He's a young man that's lived in more places than many will ever do. Mariners defender Storm Roux was born in South Africa, raised in New Zealand and cut his football teeth in Perth. Tomorrow night, the New Zealand international explains why he chose to call the Central Coast Mariners his football home.
Yeah, it's great coming to a club like this because it's not only a team culture, it's more like a family, and I think a lot of boys have said that, and it's true. It's such a close-knit team. It's really a perfect place to come and play.
That features story on one of the A-League's rising stars in tomorrow night's SBS World News. And that's the day's sport. Early to bed for Champions League.